So yesterday, the United States House of Representatives overwhelmingly voted to increase your stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000. So it is approved in the House of Representatives. 275 representatives voted yes, and only 134 voted no. Nearly all of the Democrats voted yes, and actually 44 Republicans joined them, making this a bipartisan bill called the Cash Act. So in this upgrade and amendment, what they did is they increased the $600 checks to $2,000 checks for adults. For children, the $600 checks are also going to be increased to $2,000 checks, and dependents, including adult dependents, will also get checks of $2,000 as well. In addition, they will receive $500 from the CARES Act that they previously didn't get. So now that this new Cash Act, an amendment to the original bill, has been passed by the House, and we already know President Donald Trump is going to sign it, it only needs to get through the Senate. So then what's next? Mitch McConnell, who is the majority leader in the Senate, needs to bring this to the floor. He is supposed to do this today. However, he may stall, maybe do it tomorrow or the next day. But every day he stalls is going to look bad for him. So eventually he's going to have to bring it to the floor. In addition, Chuck Schumer, who is the minority leader in the Senate, is likely to bring this to the floor for unanimous consent. Basically, he's going to say, if nobody disagrees with this, we're going to pass this through right now. This is a provision to get bills through quickly. Things that are very popular and nobody disagrees with, they can get them right through. But it is very unlikely that you're going to have everyone unanimously consent with this. You're definitely going to have at least one or two Republicans out there who are going to say, I object, and they're not going to give unanimous consent. That doesn't mean that the bill is dead in the Senate. It just means it doesn't get the fast pass through, and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are going to use that as political fodder to throw out to the press and everyone else, especially people who are trying to vote in the Georgia runoffs right now for either the Democrats or Republicans. Mitch McConnell is then going to still have to bring it to the floor. Now, once it's brought to the Senate floor, what is this thing going to need to pass? Now, I know there's a lot of people who think there's no way this thing can pass. It's not even possible. It can't happen. I do understand that the percentages may be in the favor of it not passing, but it's definitely not impossible. You would need unanimous consent from the Democrats, which they already have. It's very likely that every Democrat in the Senate is going to vote for this. After that, all you need is 12 Republicans. We already know that 2 Republicans in the Senate already agree with this, in Rubio and Hawley. So basically at this point, once Mitch McConnell brings this to the Senate floor, all we need is 10 Republicans to vote for this thing, who we don't already know is voting for this thing. If the Senate does not vote to pass this and send it off to the president to be signed, it is going to be very tough for them to explain why. Because the president of the United States is in agreement with this. The House of Representatives, in a bipartisan way, meaning Democrats and Republicans in the House both voting for this in very high amounts, are for this. The American people, to a very high majority, are for this. All Democrats in the Senate are for this. So if the Republicans in the Senate do not vote for this, they are going to have a very tough explanation. And the big reason why they would need to explain this is because of those runoffs in Georgia. 2 Senate seats are up for grabs, and this is a very popular bill. And if the Republicans don't vote for this, not only will they not give $2,000 checks to the American people, many of who really need this money at this point, but also they are going to be voting against something that's very popular, and this will in fact probably hurt the Senate runoffs. And it could switch those seats over to Democrats, which is something that the Republicans wouldn't want. One way around this could be that Mitch McConnell will, in fact, add some other provision to the $2,000 stimulus check increase, meaning he'll add something that's not popular with Democrats. And by doing that, he can ruffle things up, and then many Democrats won't vote for it because they don't want to vote for the additional provision that he will put on it. I think if he does that, it's going to come off very shady, so I don't think he will. At the end of the day, Vin, what do you think is going to happen? This is what I think is going to happen. I think there's a 50-50 shot that Mitch McConnell brings it to the Senate floor today. He might wait until tomorrow simply to give people more time to wrap their minds around what they're going to do. I believe that Chuck Schumer will ask, likely today, for unanimous consent on this bill, and if no one objects, it will get the fast pass through. I believe that there will be a Republican who will object to it, so it won't get the fast pass. If Mitch McConnell brings it to the Senate floor today or tomorrow and it goes to a vote, I believe every Democrat's going to vote for it. I believe that Rubio and Hawley are going to vote for it, and we are going to have to wait and see, are there 10 Republicans out there who are going to vote for this thing? It's going to be a split. It's not going to be all Republicans voting for this, but are there 10 who exist who say, you know what? I believe this is the right thing for the American people. I believe it's the right time for the American people. I believe this is a politically good decision because we have the 2 Senate runoffs going on right now, and we want to show the people in Georgia that we are willing to compromise on things and vote for things that we may not agree with fiscally, but we are going to vote for because we care about the American people in situations like this, the pandemic. This is not a normal situation. Are there 10 Republicans in the Senate who will in fact do this? What are the odds on it? It's a throw up, right? It's a throw up. It's a 50-50, maybe a 60-40, maybe a 30-70, but the odds are still far better than they could be. So it's not a definite impossibility. The problem many Republicans are having with this is they believe that this $464 billion is just going to increase the federal debt, and it's not going to have the effect that it needs to have. This statement is from Kevin Brady, and he is the top Republican on the House Ways and Means Committee, and it summarizes what many Republicans think. He said this: I recognize today's Cash Act will pass with bipartisan support, Republicans and Democrats alike, and I respect the decision of each member of Congress. But for me, I worry that this whopping $463 billion won't do what is needed, stimulate the economy, or get the jobless back to work. So my thoughts on that are, most of this money that's going out to these Americans who earn under $75,000 single, $150,000 filing joint is going to go back into the economy. I mean, let's say at least 50% of it's going to go right back into the economy. That is going to support businesses, small businesses, big business. It's going to support everyone. It's going to go to helping pay off debt. That's going to make individuals fiscally sound. Yes, at the end of the day, may there be some waste here? Yes, there's possible, but the federal government wastes money all the time. How often do they actually waste money by giving direct payments to the American people? Almost never. And this is the time to do that. For me, this is not really a good argument. Perhaps if Republicans say, well, it's going to cause inflation down the line, that to me is a better argument, because as we keep putting this amount of money into the economy too quickly, and especially as things improve, inflation can and probably will occur. That's not something we're going to see now, but we may see that a year or two down the line, where things seemed like they were regularly one price now will no longer be that price. Everything will increase because there's too much flow of money. However, there are things that the federal government can do to mitigate that problem, and it may not be as big and bad as many people would believe. So what is the right thing to do? The right thing to do right now, I believe, is to pass this bill. I think you need to give people the assurity, the money that they need during this pandemic. I also believe in many ways that this is even better than the unemployment help. I know a lot of people would say, people who are unemployed, they need the boost. But here's the problem with the boost. It actually does, in fact, disincentivize people to go back to work. There are countless examples of individuals who were receiving the $600 boost who decided to stay on unemployment and not go back to work. Now, I know a lot of people will say, if you can go back to work, then you have to tell them that you can go back to work. But let's be honest. People just weren't doing that. They were saying, no, I can't go back to work. And there's no way that the government could check in on everybody. There was over 10 million people unemployed. It's not possible to do that. So these unemployment boosts are great and they're helpful, but they do disincentivize people from going back to work. These stimulus checks don't do that. So in my opinion, send out the stimulus checks, keep the unemployment boost low at this point, get the vaccines out. Now, I know you could think however you want on the vaccine. Some people are for them, some people are against them, some people are worried about them. I understand. That's a different discussion for a different day. So the only thing we can do right now with all this information is wait and see. What is the Senate going to do? We are going to continue to keep you updated here. By the way, I notice a lot of you are getting notifications for my videos a day late because I'm seeing comments like, Vin, This was yesterday's news, but I'm like, I posted this video yesterday, but you didn't get the notification until today. So make sure, check that you are subscribed. Make sure that your bell notifications are on, that you're getting all notifications as well. And just check in with the channel every once in a while. If you're getting a late notification or no notification, that could be the reason why. As always, I will catch you next time.